Hi, I'm doing this impromptu. I had been debating and debating ever since I got home whether to do this video or not, and it's going to be about an hour before I have to go out and go to my evening job, and I it starts at 3 o'clock and it ends at 8, and I know there are low periods in my evening job, so I figured that I should do this now, and I could just decide to privatize it or something if I wanted to, but I should get it out there. I won't mention any names. I want to update isn't the right word, and I'm getting a little distracted by the looking at myself. But it's about it's about something 30 years ago, and primarily it's about me bottling up and thinking the worst thoughts. I talked with, excuse me, I chatted, I text messaged somebody that knows who I'm talking about. And, well, I didn't mention what this other person's name is, so I don't know if she knew who I was talking about. But in this text messaging, I described why I described certain feelings that I more like thoughts. At this point, like the feelings and thoughts are intertwined. It's like the same. They're like the same thing. And I mentioned yesterday in a video that I had. Sorry if I don't. I look away from the camera, so I don't want to be distracted by my face looking back at me. I I just wanted to. I had these. I mentioned yesterday that I had these bottled up thoughts for the past 30 years. Well, I wanted to, in this video, I wanted to clear up for myself. I wanted to go through, without mentioning any details or names, some things, and maybe realize, being introspective, realize things about myself. I know, all right, recently, rather than go back to the past and dredge that up, recently, I've still had like negative thoughts about what this other person would probably say to me. And I meant well. And like for example, now when I say that, I imagine this other person saying cruel things back to me. And it's sad that at the beginning 30 years ago, there were nice thoughts and nice things that we said, and it was that way up until last year, last April, and it was because of somebody who, well, the April before last April, this other person didn't have time, had a busy life, and I acknowledged that, and I was okay with that. I didn't have the answers that would put this to rest about things from 30 years ago, and I broached the subject, and this other person was kind and gave me some answers, but not all the answers, and and at that point, mentally, in terms of this, thinking of this person, I was okay. And I had dismay that I couldn't get all the answers. Just as a side note, there have been at least three people that have told me, like we would text, to go on, and actually the four, including this person I'm talking about, but like essentially forget about it and move on. And I'm aware of that. I know that, and I know how healthy it is to be able to do that. And then things were quiet, like non-existent. And then a year later, this past April, somebody asked me for money, to borrow money, and then a little bit more, and it lasted a week, and I became so frustrated when I found out like Friday, when this person wasn't going to pay me back, and it was I'll just say it was something like $1,234 or $1,230, and I don't have a lot of money to spare on something like that, but I was kind, and I was also that had see this person that was borrowing money, knows this other person I was talking about, the primary person I'm talking about, and so it got me thinking about two people. Actually, I might as well be frank and open. Two people. One I hadn't seen since really middle school, and she was attractive, and that wasn't much. And then there was this the primary person I'm thinking of, somebody else. There were two people, and I see right now I'm thinking of this person saying, like being angry that I'm talking. I'm trying to be as discreet and as and not giving away any information. I'm just talking about my emotions and my whatever. And I hope this person, I don't know if this person is watching, but I just in general, I well, no matter what I do, like when I'm in the dark or something, I don't know, like in this current state, I mean, in terms of thinking about this other person, I try to think of pleasant things. I can think of pleasant things, but these angry statements come up, like I sometimes in the past, like in the past year, the past few months, I thought of doing something to myself, and sometimes I thought of this other person as saying, "Go ahead, see if I care," and it reflects, I guess, on how little caring there was sometimes, or at least that's how I perceived it. I mean, that's how, like, the emotional impact there was on me, and I don't know whether this. I think of the good and the bad things that have been spoken and texted, and as I said in my video yesterday, the bad things that I remember hurt much more, hurt very much, and overshadow more than the good things. And I remember the four people, including this person, saying, "Move on," and I can't really I will move on. Like I restrain myself from like trying to resolve things. Um, and sometimes I reach out to somebody just for comfort. And this is one of those times when I've reached out to somebody else, um, but I felt that I burdened, even though this other person seems okay and has said it's okay to reach out, um, I didn't want to keep messaging this other person, so I reached out to somebody else, who said, who expressed like being okay with me reaching out, and so that was comforting. And um, I what this other person said was, I may not get the answers to why certain things happened 30 years ago, and um, I just think of this person as I don't know whether things have died down or what, but I just like the fleeting thought again, like this person thinking I'm a very bad person and scary and so forth. I'm not. I um, I would like things resolved and peaceably, and I like to know what, like, see, even when, like, last April, um, I I messaged something publicly without giving, by being very vague and hoping that this person would spot it, but I was guessing on my own maybe why certain things happened the way they did 30 years ago. And from my point of view, I was trying to show that I, if this guess is true, maybe it's okay that um, that if it was true, if I was on the right track with figuring out why certain things happened, that um, that I understand and I'm not bothered. At least I have a guess as to why, as to the cause, and it was blown out of proportion. And that was that April thing that we were okay up until that point, because I mentioned it a year before that, exactly a year before that. I see, even now I'm thinking of this person saying, "Don't you talk about me." I hope I'm being very vague enough. Um, a year before that, it had started. Um, friendly texting and somewhat conversation. We had been online friends for a long time, and actually there were messages back and forth, helpful messages, and it was just on a fluke. This is an important point. It was just on a fluke because I had seen a documentary about a lol cow and what horrible thing happened to him. Maybe some of it he perhaps deserved, but I could sympathize, or I could empathize with him wanting a girlfriend and going about it in a weird way, and it just reminded me. So I sent a message, and I just texted this person out of the blue, and it was nice, and I got some answers, maybe, it still didn't explain everything, and it seemed confusing, but at least I was thankful for that. And I guess I wasn't, I was about to say I wasn't expecting much, but a few times, by a few people, it's been said, like, move on, so forth. I understand that. It's the, it's the feeling, it's the wondering whether a person thinks of me and as somebody ugly, as like scary or whatever. And I'm very much the opposite of that. And I know I can move on, but I don't want to be thought of in a negative way, because that's not the way I really am. And I guess going back to high school and school in general, I didn't like that people would misjudge me and think of me as somebody who didn't fit in, or awkward or strange, because outside of school I was very different. I was not that I wasn't happy in school, but they didn't get to really know me, and so that's partly why it was a big factor in why I opened up to this person I'm talking about way back 30 years ago. And I thought I was really like on top of the world, and I was very elated and happy, and it became very confusing. And I had bottled up thoughts over, especially after high school graduation, and and then more recently, I thought of doing something to myself a few times, and I'm not thinking that now. I've gotten over it, and what largely helped was talking. What largely helped was talking to one of those friends from high school, and learning possibly more about what was going on that nobody told me at the time. Again, I was in the dark, and just being kicked because I didn't know, kicked in the head or something. That's an expression one of my friends uses, but maybe it's apropos now. But kicked in the head for trying to understand, and because I don't know what's going on, I get blamed because I don't know what's going on. Why is it so important that I know why then? I mean, what was going on then? Why certain things? Why it was like a certain way 30 years ago? The mystery 30 years ago. Why is that so important? It's because, well, it's because it seems like that was my only opportunity. It just was some experience that was very important to me, and I seem like an idiot. Maybe I come across like an idiot or loser talking about it now, but it did mean something very much to me then, and I don't know if I will be able to talk with this person again. But I guess underst I can't say I understand because it's not true. I will accept if it doesn't happen, then I will accept that. I'll have to accept it. But I hope that this person thinks well of me, and maybe it was maybe it was in the spur of the moment, maybe in a moment of frustration that maybe this person reacted last April, and maybe things have calmed down, but I haven't. I haven't tried to see if things are okay because, as I've said before, a number of people, including this person, have said I should move on, and so that would be the counter to moving on. Should be contacting the person back to see if things are patched up, or if I can help to patch things up. Why me? I ask that in a certain way. I mean, why me in terms of this? I almost instantly forgot why I said that. I don't mean it the usual way. I mean, why me as in this other person I'm talking about has a life, has other people, presumably other people in person's life. So why would I be important enough to be in the like a friend or part of the person's life? That's what I mean by why me. Like, I don't mean it in a victim way. I mean it in so why would I necessarily be important enough in that person's life to have to be a friend? I mean, by why me, I mean like why am I so important to this person? Like, why is my connection to this person so important? And I just don't like being thought of in a negative way. And the negative, there's something about being a writer. I guess you're very creative in terms of thinking of negative things or imagining just people's dialogue. And there's a thing called in dissociative identity disorder thing, if it's true or not, whatever, that there's a fictive, there's a part that takes on a personality of somebody destructive. I can't remember the term for it, but it's a part that takes on like a personality, an alter that takes on a personality that's scolding, and that's sort of what it feels like that I imagine this person. When I think of something, when I think of nice things about this person, it instantly switches to thinking of something harmful or hurtful, whether it was actually said or just imagining, doing something to myself and just thinking of this other person saying, go ahead, go do it, see if I care. So I guess I should be going to my evening job. I wanted to say this now because if I didn't, I didn't want to run the risk of thinking about this later on when I'm at work, and it's a lull period, and there are periods of boringness where there's literally nothing to do but just walk back and forth. And you may know about me that I hate just walking around doing nothing. So I'm going to upload this now, and I'm glad I did. I guess I wanted to go into more depth and make it more of a, without giving away details or information, I wanted to make it sort of a final, like, one video expressing my emotional thoughts, but it's hard to do when you're constantly thinking of time like I am right now, and I don't want to be late. I have to leave at a certain time, so forth. So I guess I'll say goodbye for now. Bye.